Hello, my name is David Mandel, and I'm the Policy and Research Director at the Early Learning Division. On August 14th, we issued new guidance for operating childcare and other early education programs during COVID. We're doing a series of videos to help you understand and implement the new guidance. This video is going to focus on the requirements for the COVID-19 Health and Safety Plan. I hope you have already watched the introduction video from the Early Learning System Director, Miriam Calderon. The introduction video describes the purposes of the guidelines and the process we use to develop them. There's also an overview video. The overview video describes who the guidelines apply to and the process that you need to follow to legally operate. For example, we continue to operate under Emergency Child Care or ECC system, requiring licensed child care providers and others to apply and be approved to operate as an ECC. So let's go to the COVID-19 Health and Safety Plan, the topic of this video. This is section 14 of the new guidelines, and you will find it on page 62. The COVID-19 Health and Safety Plan must be prepared for each child care and early education program. The Early Learning Division will be releasing an optional template in September, and you will have 45 days after the release of the template to complete your plan. The purpose of the Health and Safety Plan is to make sure that staff and families in your program know how you are operating during this pandemic and how you are implementing these guidelines. This will help staff and families understand their responsibilities to try and reduce the spread of COVID-19. It will also help everyone to know what they are supposed to do if, for example, there is a confirmed case of COVID-19 in your program. So now I'm going to provide an overview of this section. The COVID-19 Health and Safety Plan will need to cover the topics that are covered in these guidelines. It will provide information on how your program is implementing these guidelines. This is different from the Emergency Preparedness Plan and other plans required in licensing, so you will have to complete this plan. Here are some examples of topics that the plan will need to cover: drop-off and pickup, daily health checks, daily activities, responding to a possible or confirmed case of COVID-19. You will be asked to provide information such as what should families expect during drop-off and pickup. You will need to provide information so that both families and staff know what questions will be asked during the daily health checks, and that families and staff know what happens if a child doesn't pass the daily health check. In the daily activities sections, you will provide information on how your program is adjusting activities to reduce the risk of transmission of COVID-19. These are a few examples of the questions that you will need to provide in the Health and Safety Plan. As I mentioned earlier, a template is being created for the plan that will cover what has to be included. The Early Learning Division plans to make the template available in September. After the template is released, you will have 45 days to complete your COVID-19 Health and Safety Plan. The template will be available in English, Chinese, Russian, Spanish, and Vietnamese. You are not required to use the template. The template is just meant to help you. If you decide not to use the template and create your own plan, you will still need to answer all the questions that are asked in the template. Once you have completed the plan, you will need to make sure that it is shared with staff and families. This includes posting in an easily visible area. I want to encourage you to also think about other ways you will share the plan with staff and families. For example, how will you share the plan with families for whom English is not their first language? Do you have a social media that you use where you want to share the plan? We also know that things change. You may decide that you need to change your plan after you've used it for a while. That's okay, but you will need to update your plan and share those updates with staff and families. Here are a couple things you will not need to do. You will not need to submit your plan to the Office of Child Care or get the Office of Child Care's approval for your plan. This plan is for your program, your staff, and your families. So if you have some additional questions, we have contact information available for you. So please email providercontact@state.or.us. We have an FAQ section on our website, and we will be continually updating that. So stay tuned for additional information. We are also working on additional resources, both for you and for parents, and those will also be available on our website. And finally, I want to say thank you. Thank you to watching this video, and thank you most importantly for providing the nurturing care and education to children.